Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. As above, so below, we're talking about Satyrian energy to each and every one of you guys. Thank you for joining my lives. To each and every one of you guys. First of all, I want to say this to my Madrina. Salutations to my Madrina, my Padrino, my Oba, and my brothers and sisters in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Lakumi, Congo, Palo, Mystic, and Adjays. To those that are operating in the church, my lives are normally for melanated people. I'm here to teach knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And this particular live is for educational purposes only. And I want to talk. Normally I get on here and I'm always talking about real magic, real spirituality, real conjure. And supposedly when we talking about African traditional religions, we're talking about magic, energy, frequency, and vibration. Um, and I wanted to pose a question. I am a Crown Santero, Mafedifun, Oya Jansa. Some people know her as. And I wanted to talk about to my melanated brothers and sisters. And I wanted to give you some information, whether you're in the church or whether you are not in the church, but you got church influence. And a lot of times when it comes down to real magic and spirituality and conjure, a lot of times people teach information based off of their experience and or what they were taught by their elders. And one of the things that I see on TikTok a lot, to each and every one of you that joining in, this is a magical, spiritual live. We talk about true magic, energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, just want everybody to know. As you come in, thank you for hitting that like button and hitting those shares. And one of the things, I've been doing magic ever since I was, according to my mom, 3 to 4 years of age. I met my spiritual dad at 13. So I'm 52 years of age. I'm an American, black American conjurer. I'm a natural born necromancer, conjurer, mystic. When I grew up in Haitian voodoo. And so I want to share some things with you guys. And I want you to think about this. This is for educational purpose only. Now, you hear people saying that they're going to defend the tradition of the ATRs. And the reason why I want to share this information is because when it comes to teaching foundational knowledge about ATRs or African traditional sciences, hello, Mother Susan, you have to go back to the foundation. And the more that I intertwine with the ATRs and encounter my brothers and sisters, initiated crown, I'm also a Tata Nkisi. Alafia, I'm also a Tata Nkisi. I'm a father of the cauldrons. I have quite a few cauldrons. So one thing that I have noticed, that no matter where you go or who you interact with, people are trying to say that they are trying to solidify the traditions when it comes to the ATRs. And my only question, because I'm also an apostle and pastor of my own ministry, and the question I have is that in order to defend foundational teaching, you have to deal with the foundation of a thing. Even when you got African Brazilian magic, conjure, mysticism, the foundation of their magic comes out of Africa. Christianity foundation, the book, comes out of Egypt, which is in Africa. And when you start doing history, a lot of times, a lot of people want to talk and teach about magic when it has to do with their particular culture, not the foundation of the magic that they practice. Because foundation is energy, frequency, and vibration. Somebody would say, well, what's the significance of this? It's because when you have those that do any type of research when it comes down to science, the mitochondria DNA comes from the black one. She's the only one that has the DNA that be able to create life and transmutation of any other race of people on planet Earth. That's undisputed. That's science. That's not my opinion. It's not my suggestion. It's not my point of view. Those are facts. Those scientific facts. So that would mean that I just heard this Dr. Umar. You better hear a lot more here. Thank you for sharing that. Let me say this. Just like we have to tell our melanated brothers and sisters that in order to practice one of the ATRs, you have to have a bloodline attachment. And let me say this. This is for educational purpose only, because y'all know we on Tech Talk. Now, I operate very differently on my YouTube channel. Now, the reason why I bring up this, because we know that the building block of life is carbon. It's a scientific fact. And so therefore, when we do real conjure, real mysticism, real magic, we have to go back to the original energy, frequency, and vibration, right? Which is the melanin. Okay? Now, follow me if you will. If you're going to defend your traditions have to be based in foundational teaching. And since the primordial mothers are the first ones, then how can you actually teach a culture without teaching the foundation by which that culture was built? It's like this house that I'm living in right now. I bought this house brand new, but I wasn't the one that constructed the house. The person that originally designed the house was a trucker, and he could not verify his income, so therefore he could not close on the deal. And I came in, a UPS driver, and I closed the deal, even though I was not the foundation. Even though I habitate in this house, I am not the originator. And when you teach a doctrine not dealing with the foundation by which your magical system was built on, it's disingenuous. And I was thinking about this, and I want to speak to melanated people. This is for educational purposes only. I want you to really think about this when it comes to our tatas, our mambos, our hookahs. Not so much as mambos and hookahs, because that's Haitian, black. But I want to say this. It would be very hard for somebody to say they love me and then mistreat my offsprings. I have 3 boys. It would be hard for them to convince me that they were so devoted to me, but they mistreated what looked like me, what had the imagery and the likeness of me, right? And so I say to melanated people and people that have been transmuted from the DNA of the black woman, that how can you love African spirits, African gods, African deities? I'm crying my Fedifun Oya, and she is not a Spanish woman. Her origin is not Spanish. which Spanish people, because of they do have melanin, they have access to magic. Any Asian people, any person that has melanin. But most certainly, if you're going to teach a foundation and say you're trying to defend traditions, are you trying to defend tradition, or are you trying to defend your image? So let me speak to you this. My padrino is Spanish from Venezuela. So I had to go get my dog. And when I walked in the Botanica, when looking around, it had all types of dogs, right? So I was looking for the darkest dog. Because if I'm going to present, whether it's Loa, whether it's Nkisi, whether it's any African deity, I want those dolls or representation to look like the actual god or goddess or the entity by which I am operating with. So I'm a little confused, just a little, not totally confused. Now, I don't have a problem with anybody patronizing their own imagery. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem when melanated people patronize their own imagery. Somehow, some way, we become something that we're not. Every other imagery or transmutation from a black man or black woman can and will support their own imagery, their own energetic vibration, frequency, and spiritual signature. I don't have a problem with that. When I go to a store and like I used to go to McDonald's on my route, and once you hire one Latino, they gonna take over. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Please understand, ain't nothing wrong with that. But you ain't the originator. You're not the foundation. This is what happens when people get into real magic, spirituality. They want to start where they are leading or they are the most dominant. When melanin allows melanated people to be the dominant gene. This is all science. And I'm trying to figure out, when you want to authenticate your particular initiation, you always draw attention to Africa or African countries or a African woman or an African man. So you understand the foundation by which your authentication comes from that foundation, right? But because American blacks do not know their history, they don't understand their origin, they don't understand their melanin. And I get all that, because that ain't y'all problem. That's our problem, because we need to teach our own people. I ain't hating on nobody for tending to their own. Every seed produces after his or own seed. That's Bible, that's universal. A watermelon is not going to birth a mango. I get that. I ain't hating on nobody. But I say to each person that practices the ATRs, it is impossible for you to show devotion to a god or goddess that they originated in Africa. This is what my issue with Catholicism. I don't have a big issue with Catholicism, but I have a little bit of issue. The Black Madonna that the Pope kneels down and kisses her feet. She has a black baby. It's the pigmentation or the depiction of this Black Madonna is, there's no confusion that it's black. Okay? This ain't my religion. I'm just telling you the history. I'm just trying to ask melanated people some real important questions. And for all of y'all that are participating in the ATRs, I'm asking some solid questions. So the baby that's in Madonna's arm is a black child. She has a crown, he has a crown. That is the foundation of the Catholic Church, which this particular spirit or energy is a Loa. It's Ezeli Dontor. That's who that is. That non-melanated people bow down and worship and allow to utilize her energy and frequency and vibration to manifest their saints in their image after their likeness. So we understand that you have built a foundation, or you built a science, you built a civilization, you built an economy, you have built an enterprise around our inventions, our magic, our conjuring. Our bloodline originated from foundation. And so how do you deal with primordial energy, frequency, and vibration, which is melanin, but when it is manifested on earth, you mistreat it? So I'm asking my Latinos, my Cubans, because I'm in Palo too, and it's Cubans are heavy in Sao Paulo. How can you speak to Zerabanda? How can you speak to Siete Rayos? How can you how can you, sir and ma'am, speak to Mommy Watson, Mama Chola? How can you speak to Lucero Mundo? And my mother in Palo is Zendaya Ndoki. My father is Kobiende. I'm just trying to figure out, because all of these entities originate out of Africa, and they were transmuted based off of migration and people residing in different land masses, and therefore they had to utilize different ways to keep the traditions alive, and they commingled with other nations and kingdoms and Ebasa. And I'm just trying to figure out that if you're going to practice Palo and you're going to venerate your Egun, your ancestors, but you're going to draw off of melanated energy or chaos energy, 666, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 6 protons. I'm just talking about foundational teaching when it comes to magic, and this is for educational purposes only. I'm just speaking to melanated people. Just because you picked up Jesus or Yahshua when he was Jesus, not knowing that in the Hebrew alphabet there's no such thing as J, so his name could not have been Jesus. It had to be Yahshua, which is Yahweh or Yahweh, which is the Holy Trinity, which eventually they tried to call the Holy Ghost and not Divine Feminine. Because without Divine Feminine, you can't have a manifestation. You understand? But I'm talking about foundation. How can you, sir and ma'am, look at the imagery of the universe and call upon the stars of heaven, knowing that melanated people are the microcosm of the universe? We are the star children. I'm just saying foundation. If you're going to take that Nganga and pull that energy, that chaos energy in your cauldron, which comes from the universe, which is melanin, which is iron, and iron is the blood. Do I really? Ma'am, I'm a Sagittarius. My moon is Aries, and my rising sign is Pisces. And reason I said that, I don't say nothing I don't believe. I don't get on social media because it's social media. Anything that I talk about, I have facts. We're in the age of Aquarius. This is why I don't let my Haitian brothers and sisters in Haitian voodoo tell me that I got to speak Creole, because you were captured by the French. Your language comes from the people that conquered you. That's why I don't have to speak Spanish to practice palo, because Latino people are the captures of Spain. So the original language, or the original foundation of speaking, is Congo. And I don't speak Congo, you don't speak Congo, but the spirits understand the blood. This is why somebody can be from a descendant of a bloodline and not be in that particular land and still contact those spirits of that particular tradition or religion or magical system. So I believe everything that come out of my mouth, whether people believe it or not. I don't. So when you have to look at culture as a season, right? My example is, your culture can season chicken Asian style, Jamaican style, African style, or deep south. I'm in Florida, so smothered chicken. But the foundation is chicken. How you season it, where you say Louisiana chicken, jerk chicken, how you utilize magic, frequency, and vibration according to your culture is one thing. But the foundation by which your magical system or culture was built on is African. Mitochondrial DNA. That is black one. How can you defend a tradition? How can you be in love with Oya and you see a child that looked like me, whether I was crowned or not, even though I am crowned? I'm also crowned Mafedi Fum Bablu Aye. I'm just trying to have some understanding, because I don't see how you can venerate your ancestors utilizing our DNA, our chaos energy, and be about the Orishas, the Loas, the Nkisi, the Impungos. I don't understand that. How can you call upon the stars of heaven, Gabriel, Michael, Uriah, Raphael, Hanel, Sasha, Camiel, Cassiel, Samael, Sandalphon, Metron, all of that sounds good. But the problem I have with that is that when you study the foundation of where those entities come from, it comes from melanin. And the only people on planet Earth that possess melanin that allows us to tap into the universe and the earth realm, the terrestrial realm, is melanated people. And every time you practice our tradition, you're making it in your own image and not the imagery of the foundation, primordial mothers. So we teach people in hoodoo, we teach people in the Obeah, that representation is everything. So when somebody says, why is that significant? Why would I purchase a dog that looks nothing like the entity or the imagery of the entity that I am honoring, venerating, or worshiping? That's all I'm saying. How do you skip past the foundation and you only want to talk about when you were in power and your culture was in power? The primordial energy, frequency, and vibration is about foundation. You only want to talk about it when it got to Brazil. Before it got to Brazil, where did it derive from? And this is why I tell melanated people, before you get involved with the ATRs, do your own personal study. I don't believe that people are inherently prejudiced, but I do believe people are taught. And before there be a disdain for a black woman or a black man, as much as it is, then it has to be a concerted effort. I would say this: you cannot replace the foundation of gods and goddesses. No more than you can kill the beginning of vampires. If you kill the mother of vampires, you kill all vampires. This has been a race of the clock, trying to prevent the true gods and goddesses from subduing this earth. If you truly practice the ATRs, if you truly honor the cosmos, if you truly cherish Mother Earth, Tiamat, the extraterrestrial, everybody want to get to the moon, everybody want to be in the firmaments of heaven. Like Rihanna said, diamonds in the sky. Our carbon energy, our carbon bodies are the only material that formulates a diamond. When we decompose, we become, with the pressure of Mother Earth, that's how diamonds are formed. Diamonds are formed from fossilized material. And the only material that you can get a diamond is carbon. These are not my opinions. These are facts. I don't know how you're going to practice magic. I don't know how you're going to practice manifestation outside of, diamonds on, they're not man-made. To say that diamonds are man-made is to say that amethyst can man influence? Absolutely. They've been doing that. That's how we got Christianity. How you think we got these other transmutations of the African science? Of course, man can integrate. That's why we got broccoli. It's not a natural vegetable, but people were utilizing chemistry and alchemy, and that's why we eat broccoli. Even down to carrots. It's not a natural fruit. Just like they're hybrids when it comes to fruits and vegetables, they're hybrids when it comes to people that transmute energy or integrate with other DNA and create other species. Everybody want to be natural resources. Oh man, to you, Lord. Thank you so much. A lot of people are not genuine when they come on these platforms, but I'm speaking to melanated people. This is for educational purposes only. What's popular is not always factual. I'm going to say that again. What's popular, what's trendy, is not always factual. And if you're seeking the truth, it's going to lead you to the foundation of things. And you're going to see more and more, the more you find out and you walk in foundation, you're going to have people that have a problem because they don't want to hear about where it started from. They want to talk about their favorite part in the movie. Absolutely. So, if you're going to say that minerals are important, you have to say that atoms are important. I'm going to say this again. You can't have the minerals without having the electrons, the neutrons, the protons that are in the foods that we eat. We can't get energy, frequency, and vibration and nourishment unless that everything represents melanin. This is why melanated people get hydrated when they eat watermelon or melanin. When they eat dark or purplish fruit, because that is like chaga. We supposed to be eating for energy, not to get full, not to stretch our digestive system or to overwork our digestive system. What's up there? She said, Grand Rising brother, you are definitely speaking truth, factual, reality, and on point. Let me say this. When melanated people wake up, I don't need all melanated people to wake up. I just need enough. If I come on here and I reach one melanated person, two, it don't matter. Because in order for you to understand how to raise your vibration, you got to understand your body. You got to understand. Dr. Sebi taught all this exactly. You got to understand your body, not other people's transmutation of their body, because we are a living organism. We're melanated, and therefore our bodies operate differently, harness energy, frequency, and vibration. We are just like the trees of the earth. Photosynthesis happens every single day. We take light energy and we have alchemy take place in our bodies. Whether we eat something or we get direct absorption through our skin. We got it like that. Melanated people, you ain't got to eat it. If you put it on your body, your skin will absorb the nutrients necessary. That's why we wear copper. Because we can absorb those things. Trees are our ancestors, absolutely. Everything's our ancestor, if you want to know the real truth. Because we are all things, and all things are us. Now we have different destinations, and I like to call it destiny, in the lifetime or the life timeline that we live in. But what is essential is that we understand how to utilize those energies or those minerals here on the earth plane to manifest and fulfill our particular destiny or destination. Because everybody ain't come here to be a healer. Everybody ain't come here to be a deliverer. Some people come to destroy things. And that's when melanated people understand that it's a cycle of life. There's a time for things to be planted, and there's time for things to be uprooted. Yeah, they don't study. I think that most of the people that follow me on my YouTube page understand more so where I'm headed. TikTok and people on TikTok, and especially my brothers and sisters, and they chime in my lives. They look at me from a distance. But I want you to be able to ask, because anybody that's really about the tradition should not have a problem with foundational teaching. And ask the question, do I have to address African gods in Spanish? The truth is, no. Do I have to consort with the Loa in Creole? No. What's your... It's Apostle Samuel Jr. The same name. Oh, actually, I don't have a chief on there. But it's Apostle Eli. If you go into my bio, it'll take you directly to my YouTube page. Let me tell y'all something. When it comes down to real magic, and that's why I say I teach real magic, because I teach it raw and I teach it real. And when you dealing with the metals and you're listening at Bonti Sion, what's up there, my Sagittarius? When you listen at people that utilize carbon, utilize melanin, you think that they honor that. Because a person uses you, your energy, your ideas, your foundation, doesn't mean, sir or ma'am, they honor or respect what they utilize. Thank you, watching me now. Oh, that's my Boaz. So I came on here to address, to educate melanated people that are going to go into these houses that are going to be predominantly dominated with imageries that do not look like you. Do not lose yourself. You don't have to. This is what people don't understand when it comes down to magic. The less melanin you have, the less your body can house those spirits. Houses is Elays. Thank you so much. Thank you for the congratulations on my retirement. Yes, I recently retired from UPS for 30 years. Now I can devote to real content more time. Let me say this. I just want y'all to think. If everything is based off science and they're African traditional sciences, then how can you practice a science that you're utilizing the raw material, which is carbon, you're utilizing the raw minerals in gangas, in your cauldrons, but have no respect for the people that it originated from, derived from? I want to say again, I am not holding any other culture responsible for the lack of education and information that melanated people don't have. Because melanated people, they like to worship every image that is not like them. That's their business. But for the melanated people want to know the raw, the real, and the truth. That's what I'm here for. There's a real thing called self-hating, self-sabotage. And when you dislike the very image of your primordial mothers and your primordial father, that's a self thing. That's not as they say with black people, are not a monolith. If they want, wait a minute. If they want the knowledge, they will come. Exactly. To each, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to clarify something. I'm a Sagittarius. Moon is in Aries and rising on Pisces. The last thing I'm going to try to do is change your mind. I have no need to try to change anybody's mind or position or ideas or emotions. I'm just stating facts. I'm just stating truth. Whether you accept it or not, it's irrelevant. But one thing you cannot say, or to your ancestor, that when I came on his channel, on his live, that I didn't hear the truth, that I didn't hear facts. And I chose as a grown man, as a grown woman, to ignore those facts and those subtle truths. What you do with your life and your existence is none of my business. What you do with your Ache, what you do with your prana, what you do with your energy, your frequency and vibration, that is a personal choice and journey. As long as it does not affect me, sir and ma'am, it don't bother me. You think because Christianity tried to force their ideas and beliefs on other people, that you think that ATRs are the same way. The reason why you see a lot of the same behavior that you saw in the church, in the ATR, is because a lot of people in the church that got involved in the ATR and they still have the same mentality. I was told this: you can take a pig out the country, but you can't take the country out the pig. I don't know why melanated people think because you go into another religion that you ain't still carrying the thoughts, the ideas, and the feelings and the belief systems of other traditions. This is why you see a replica of certain prejudice in ATRs. But if you go back to the foundation, you don't see it. You have people that are talking about homosexuality. This is for educational purposes only. It's not my personal belief. Only for educational purposes only. According to foundation, it has never been an issue. Our African gods and goddesses have been androgynous, to say the least. Educational purposes only. What I'm about to speak, morphodites in African traditional sciences, educational purposes only. So there's no way that the issue that you have implemented in the ATRs have anything to do with the deities and the goddesses themselves. Those are your personal beliefs. And most people that have those beliefs are indulging in those same activities. There's nothing more feminine than a melanated woman. There's nothing more masculine than a melanated woman. There's nothing more feminine than a melanated man. And there's nothing more masculine than a melanated man. Every transmutation of that mitochondrial DNA is only a replica or a type of replication of that gene. And if you're dealing with the foundation of magic, you have to deal with the raw essence. I encourage many of you guys to study outside of your mental capacity. Figure out why you think the way you think. Is it truly your belief or something you have adopted? Because when you're talking about foundational teaching, this is why, based off the culture, the way your culture do money work, protection work, may be very different than somebody else. And so therefore you can't call that person wrong because that's your culture. But universally, this other person that is not doing it like you do it in your culture is not incorrect either. As long as people are operating in universal laws, and like Medea said, how you gonna tell me I can't write a check? I got checks. Whether they gonna bounce or not, that's a whole nother chapter. Melanated people believe that because they're melanated, that they can just walk into these ATRs without initiation. That's not true. Even Yahshua, your Jesus, had to be baptized by John the Baptist. Even though he was son of the Most High. So we have to go through certain ritual licenses. But my Padrino did not give me my answers. My Oba did not give me my power. That came along with my bloodline. Melanated people, stop looking for people to give you something that they don't have. When I was going through my crowning, my Fedifun Yanza, the Baba, the priest of Arula, told my Padrino, I have two Padrinos, told them, what I understand now is not what I understood then. So I'm reflecting back on. He told them, you need to reinforce your Oya, because this man is coming in with 3 powerful ancestors, and his Oya is going to be extremely strong. That's what he said about me, and I didn't even know the knowledge that I have now. So before they could crown me, they had to reinforce their Oya to deal with my Oya, because I'm melanated. And this is the problem that melanated people are going to have. When you walk into these elays and you walk into these houses, as an American black man or woman, you're going to carry an energy and frequency and vibration that they don't have. And sometimes, a lot of times, you're going to be dealing with envy and jealousy, and you don't know enough to defend yourself. You don't know enough to protect yourself. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. If you don't think that these people will not use you, and you ain't going to know until you need to know. I have helped countless of black men and women that got into the ATRs and got them clean and got their spirits reestablished, because those people that are in charge, if they accept you in their house, it's just for a battery. And if you can't read between those lines, I'm sorry for you. You need to go onto my YouTube channel, because I speak quite straightforward. So, foundational teaching is about primordial energy, raw energy. Okay? I'm going to say this for my melanated people. I'm not telling you who to get initiated. That's your personal choice. I am saying, at least for your soul's sake, educate yourself on the culture and the mentality that they have concerning Black American people. Just because you go to Africa, they don't see you as one of them. I know y'all look alike. I know y'all even dance alike, but they don't see you that. Haitian people do not see you as them. Jamaican people do not see you as them. Black American people have the mentality, oh, we all black. And that is true. But when people don't think that they are, they're going to treat you differently. It's not just the non-melanated people you need to worry about. It's us that look like this. Because our culture means more than foundation. I'm going to say this again. Just like in football, a person's team can matter more than the actual game of football. The same thing you're going to find in these ATR. Their tradition and their culture is going to mean more than the foundation by which it derived from. Be wise. Be observant. And most of all, get around somebody that you can learn more so you can protect yourself before you go into that. Because magic is a real thing. And when you're dealing with Palo, you're dealing with ancestor dead. When you're dealing with Orisha, you're still dealing with the ancestor. Most African traditions are ancestral based. And before they have you in the land of the ancestors, before you even recognize and got you on their altar working you, people peak your spiritual core so they can find out how to bring you to a early end so they can utilize your spirit. And that's as far as I'm gonna go with that, because we is on TikTok. For all y'all think it's not a real thing going on out here, it's a real thing. You ain't nothing but a battery in that E-lay. All right? God bless you.